Hi everyone, welcome to day 13 of Steph's Take live stream series where I feature concepts from 2 books through the lens of the accountability evangelist. Today's books are The Path by Laurie Beth Jones and The Catholic Briefcase by Randy Hain. We'll start with The Path. So the subtitle is Creating Your Mission Statement for Work and for Life. Why is it so important to have a mission statement? I'm going to share 2 reasons that Laurie Beth shares here. First, knowing your personal mission statement is the best career insurance you can have, because once you are clear about what you were put here to do, then jobs become only a means towards your mission, not an end in themselves. So you may have heard some people say a phrase like, I work here in order to pay for my hobby or something like that. If your mission is what's driving you, but it isn't your day job, that's okay, because if your day job gives you the means to spend time on your mission, then that's awesome. All right, what's another reason? The second reason that she points out, and maybe the more compelling reason, is people with clearly defined missions have always led those who haven't any. You are either living your mission or you are living someone else's. So I don't know about you, but I would prefer to live my own. So how do you determine your mission? Well, you have to spend some time in reflection. You got to think about what you're good at, what you like to do, what have others said that you're good at. Oftentimes Laurie Beth Jones makes the point in the book that we ignore or dismiss when other people say nice things about us or say, you'd be a really good teacher. And you're like, oh, no, or you just assume they're just trying to be nice. But if you hear that a couple times, you might want to pay attention. It might be a sign that that's something you might want to consider pursuing. So it should become part of your self-reflection and what you consider for your mission. Think about who you want to serve, right? In the book, it kind of breaks it down. You have to think about who your audience is. If you want to be a teacher, do you want to teach kids? Do you want to teach adults? Some people like one or the other. I know I feel I'm better at teaching adults, frankly, which is why I'm drawn to the work that I do now, and part of the reason why I'm sharing this live stream series with you. So what's my mission? As you probably know by now, because I've posted it in many different places, it's to help accountable people achieve their most ambitious goals. So that's mission, okay? I'm going to move on to vision next, but first I want to point out that little statement took me months and months to figure out. So do not be discouraged if you are going on the path to find a mission statement and it doesn't come to you right away. You've got to sit with it. You've got to try different things on. You're probably going to start with a longer mission statement and keep working it until you get a crisp, concise statement. When organizations undergo this type of work, sometimes they do a retreat, they bring in a consultant. It takes them a long time to get there. So you might be wondering, why bother? Like, that's such a huge time investment. It's totally worth it for the clarity that you get. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But let's talk about vision next. Okay, so what is vision? I'm going to share with you Laurie Beth's explanation of vision. While a mission statement is centered around the process of what you need to be doing, a vision statement is the end result of what you will have done. So I don't have a perfect vision statement yet, one that I'm happy with, so it's kind of evolving. But basically what it is I want to serve lots and lots of people through lots and lots of other people. And I have kind of put them together for you, so I'm going to read to you what I have as kind of a combination mission vision, just to illustrate the point. Helping accountable people achieve their most ambitious goals means they can then serve in a greater capacity and for a greater capacity, multiplying the transformational impact through a ripple effect of generosity and solidarity. And so I added solidarity actually just the other day when I was preparing for the talk I gave about Lynn Twist's book, The Soul of Money. I think we talked about that last time. So solidarity is beyond generosity and also taking a stand and making a commitment. So that's kind of my mission and vision together. So I'm still working around that because it does take a while to kind of hone it in, but that's what I have come up with. I would love it if you would think about what you might have if you don't have a mission and vision statement. I also wanted to say that the reason I've done this live stream series and the reason that I started this Facebook group was because of this mission and vision. Before this, I spent maybe a couple minutes on Facebook a day, really barely any time on social media, honestly actively avoided it. But I was introduced to the concept of leading Facebook groups as a way to build community, and it's really been a very rewarding experience and a great way to serve others and through my mission. So why do we care about mission and vision? A little bit earlier I said clarity, right? So what does that clarity buy you? I would say something very important. Having a clearly articulated vision and mission statement will be a terrific magnet and filtering device. So magnet, you may start to notice that opportunities just start to come to you that fit in with your mission and vision. It's probably because you're paying better attention, because before your thoughts were probably scattered and distributed among many different things going on in your life. But once you have a narrowed mission and vision and you have a focal point, all of your energy is going toward that, and so you're drawing that energy back in. Similarly, the filtering device is really useful because you make decisions easier, right? If what you're faced with doing doesn't fit your mission or vision, you're going to feel more comfortable about saying no, which is often very hard to do. But you can't say yes to everything. You have to say yes to things that align with your mission and vision. All right, let's move on to Catholic Briefcase. All right, so in thinking about my mission and vision, I had to come to terms with the fact that I cannot leave my faith at home. I was very uncomfortable earlier in my career telling people about my faith. It wasn't that I didn't want people to know I was Catholic. I just felt, as a human resources professional, which is where I started my career, I didn't know if it was appropriate to share that. And so I didn't do that very much. I don't think that's the best way to handle it. But the good news is, as illustrated in this book, you don't have to be evangelical about it. If anything, it's really about how you behave. It is by acting in a selfless and charitable way toward others and putting their needs before our own that people will truly begin to see Jesus in us, which is really what I want. And when I talk about Catholic Briefcase, let me just say for a second that I recognize the Catholic Church is not perfect. I don't agree with every teaching that the Catholic Church has, every practice, every issue. But the Catholic faith fits me. It's always felt like home to me, and I really embrace it. And I find that whenever I'm kind of veering off of my path, when I come back to my Catholic faith, I feel more centered. And this started really early in my life through the example of my parents, for sure. They didn't push Catholic faith on us. We just all went to church together, and we watched what our parents did, and they were serving in the church. And I remember this one day that we had a really bad snowstorm, really bad, so bad that church was canceled. I didn't know that. I actually got my boots on and my snowsuit and everything, and church is about a little over 2 miles away, if I remember correctly. And I insisted on going. My father finally stopped me and said, "Steph, there is no Mass today. You can't go." So that kind of conviction, though, I've carried that with me, and through the ups and downs and closing of churches in my parish, I've stayed with it because I really do believe in that faith. Now, for you, it may not be a Catholic briefcase. It might be a Muslim briefcase or a Jewish briefcase or some other form of faith, and that's wonderful. Whatever you feel good about and what makes you serve others in a greater, wonderful capacity, embrace that faith, and don't be afraid to share it with others. That is something that I'm kind of still learning as I'm maturing in my career and in my personal involvement. All right, so let's go back to a little bit more about the Catholic faith, though. So Catholics are called to make more disciples, right? That's kind of a main purpose of being Catholic, and other religions are similar, of course. But how do you do that? Well, people are watching your behavior. Basically, you want to lead by example. So St. Francis of Assisi is quoted to say, "Preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words," which is just a beautiful way of saying lead by example. So who are you leading? Among others, your own little disciples. If you want to know what kind of Catholics our children will be, look in the mirror. They look to mom and dad and mimic our example. For sure. So for that reason, actually, a couple years ago I developed a training program, a presentation called Raising Catholic Leaders, and I want to share with you what's on the agenda of that presentation. 1. Understand the leadership skills that will be necessary for your children to succeed on their own and in the workplace. 2. Discover what you can do now with your children to instill good habits, bring out their best selves, and enable them to realize their leadership potential. Help your children learn how to confidently integrate their Catholic faith as responsible students, employees, and citizens. So in this training, the main concepts they teach, of course, are accountability, growth mindset, and leading by example. And I find that very rewarding because the concepts are faith-based, but it's really about being a good person. That is the common thread through most of the faiths that I have studied. And so again, I really encourage you, if you are a person of faith and that's important to you, to embrace it. More importantly, if service is a key part of your mission, then your faith must accompany you at all times. So let's wrap up to review from the first book, just reminding you that mission and vision statements matter, okay? They make a difference. Not only a difference, but they could be the difference between living your mission and vision or living someone else's. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.